Hey guys, welcome back. We are on the recap episode, and today we don't have any guests.
Hey,
We have with me.
I thought I'm the guest.
So it's just going to be both of us basically discussing about what happened in the last 1.5 months.
1.5 months. Oh wow, how the time went, huh? So Jinesh, how did it actually? Do you let's just go back in time, okay? And then, the first episode when we started, did you even think that in the next 1.5 months we'll be sitting and talking about it and the whole whatever journey, right? It's a small journey, but still it is one. So how did you think about how it started for you at that beginning?
So I knew that we wouldn't stop it because we had a certain goal that we have to be consistent and do it. And definitely, I think first season we covered that consistency part at least. We didn't skip any particular week. We made sure that the videos were out, irrespective of how long the nights were with the edits. But I think it was good fun and a good experience also. What about you?
No, it's true. I mean, because in the beginning, I remember our edits used to be for like 8 hours, 10 hours.
Yeah.
And slowly it started picking up pace. And then, for me also, it was the same. I thought the beginning, it's going to be a lot of struggle to. I was kind of confident that, you were kind of sourcing the people in the beginning stages. So I was kind of confident that way because that was the main thing that I was thinking whether we'll get the right people to address what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
Since and I think the networks helped, and so apart from that, technically we both were not up to the it was experimentation actually.
Yes.
So I am glad that we were able to pull it off, and then there's still a long way to go, as in with respect to the quality of the videos. But I think at least I think we got the right sentiment involved here, like as in to interview good entrepreneurs, which is very progressive, and I think it'll attract a lot of good entrepreneurs and things.
Yeah.
So in that sense, Jinesh, so when you started, right? I mean, were you thinking that the way it shaped eventually, you would have had something else in your mind, right? Like what kind of I mean, just having it as an abstract thought, and then in reality coming and shooting and editing the output that is there on YouTube today. You think that it was a match of how you had it in your head?
So I mean, like you said, initial videos is basically where we learned. We unfortunately the guests were the experiment, but I'm sure they also understood that. But the first few videos, if you just have a look at it, we can see that drastic quality dip. So I thought maybe DSLR will work well, but unfortunately we had to learn from Sriram, who came down.
It was the third episode. I think that was the turning point, right?
Yeah. So then we realized that iPhones are better than
in fact, I remember you were speaking about doing it only with iPhones. Somewhere that thought came into me that DSLR should do well and things. But okay, fine. The best part, I think, what I learned in this is that you everywhere we have small problems.
Yeah.
The whole journey is to just identify it, fix it, and that's the thing. And you rightly said about the experiments, and we were lucky to have Harish as our first person who completely understood it.
Yeah.
You want to talk about how episode 0 went for us, which didn't even air actually.
So I mean, like you said, Harish was very sportive in the fact that he came twice, though we didn't release the first one. And yes, it was definitely an experiment where we thought we have everything sorted with all the cameras and audios, and when we started the edit, we realized that no, this is messed up, and we can't really release this. So it was great of Harish to come back, and like you asked, that was it proper vision, like what I had thought of. First few episodes were definitely not, because camera was gone for a toss, and audio also was to an extent here and there mismatched. But I think every episode we had some challenge, but end of the day we sort of found at least what is the problem and tried to fix it.
No, one of the best problems, if you want to call it that way, was the stand breaking.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like one third episode, I think,
Third
where we were
episode.
like ready for shoot, and then suddenly we are just trying to fit up the equipments, and then this breaks. And and what did we use? We used one of your stencils or something, right? Like,
Yeah, we used pencil jugards.
so yeah, that's very memorable in that sense. But I think what in the beginning, right? Even I had a lot of doubts and things like. In fact, people around me also who were my well wishers, who were our well wishers in some of the cases, were saying that you have to make it perfect, and then prepare it, plan it properly,
Yeah.
and then only do it. So don't go live or don't go this thing. But somewhere I think both of us were in that sense. Like I don't know from where it came. Maybe it's that last bench attitude or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like we'll just do it. We'll pick it up on the way, and then
Yeah.
we'll correct the mistakes. But do you feel that we have corrected? I mean, wherever we did a mistake, I think the main part is to identify that we are accepting that we are making
Yeah.
something wrong, right? Even for that matter, the formats, the length of the videos, and all that. So, did you feel that we were able to identify it?
Yeah, I think quality in general improved. If you see the videos from first till the last, video quality was much better for the last video, and audio also was improved. We didn't do any audio enhance or anything. We just used raw audio.
Yeah.
So that sounded better. And it looked more candid and natural compared to what it was initially. So probably we'll call back the people who we did the experiment on so that we can shoot them in the proper
they
format.
feel much more brighter and no, I mean, I really thought they didn't look good.
Yeah.
This is just you know what it is. So yeah, so the thing is, when we started, right, there was a thinking. Basically, the way we call ourselves sandwich stories. The whole idea was to have someone in the middle and then talk about it.
Yeah.
But how do you think that would have panned out? I mean, do you think that this became one-on-one conversations that we had as a format, kind of made it more intense, and that always one-on-one conversations like that, right? How do you think that?
So yeah, like the name sandwich, like we discussed first was to keep the guest in between, and we are the sandwich for them. But due to budget constraint and to cut down on the editing hours, we had to switch to this. But I mean, most of them initially had a confusion who were watched, and they told me, it's like, why is there two different interviewers? One is you. How does it work? Why can't you both be in the? Everyone had those doubts. So then we had to explain to them that, see, these are the challenges. We'll try to work on it and try to actually come up with the sandwich part.
No, randomly there was a guy on Instagram. Okay, I think he has his own. He just started his own Insta page. He's from America. So he just pinged me saying that I had liked one of his posts, which just came. And he asked me, I just noticed that you have a podcast channel. Is it about sandwiches? So there is a general notion that we have something related to food. Yeah. The only relation we have with food is during the breaks we eat. That's it. So yeah, I mean, so I think that budget constraint is definitely there. So I would blame all of you only for not liking it enough. But yeah, I think we'll all pick it up. So do you think? Okay, like we'll just talk about a bit about what we targeted. Did we reach there? So we saw a potential in YouTube that there weren't many channels who are talking to people who are budding entrepreneurs. Right?
Yes.
Like we have established entrepreneurs, they come and share their experience, which is very valuable. But these budding entrepreneurs are going through something else. Once they reach that stage is when people notice them, or the world notices them. So I think we kind of try to hit that spot.
Yeah.
And then it is not to say that all our 10 guests were budding. Some of them are actually well established in their profession. But still, I think that was a new thing that we tried to do.
Yes.
So in that case, in that sense, do you see potential of it? Reminding how did your guests talk to you?
So yeah, definitely we started with the idea that we want to give a voice for the people who don't really have a voice. So there are a lot of shows where, like you said, established people come and speak. So I thought, what about the guys who are trying to build a name for themselves? Who is going to cover them? So that's how we bought the idea also. And in fact, when you speak to the guest, initially, even if they are a little bit nervous because this is the first time for most of them, and they find that little nervous in the probably first 5 minutes, and we can also feel it during the conversation.
Yeah.
But post that, they start to get comfortable, and then they start sharing more.
Right.
And post the show, when you speak to them, like, how was the experience? They're like, it's a great initiative that you guys have started, that giving a voice. Especially Arnima, she said that it was a great initiative where we are able to speak about something which we are trying to build. Not very many people are, open to the idea of giving a chance to a upcoming entrepreneur.
Right.
So I think it's the right market. So let's see how it grows. The thing is, we need to get in proper videos out and probably constrain it with a good format.
I think that's what we are. We will learn to do in the future. But the thing is, right? I mean, I thought packaging wise, right? Like that's something which it's a long video. We have opted to go for long videos because we are just here at this moment where we are trying to see. It's like, if I have to give an analogy, we just have a buffet kept on a table. We want to see what people are taking. So that's also the reason why we haven't focused on one particular business entrepreneur industry wherein we are talking to everyone. So we want to see what whether people are actually consuming more of what, and then take that direction, right? That's what I think we also try to do. So it's like that's very interesting. I mean, in the sense, for us to. So when you started, right? Like, I mean, you would have just like you said, how people were hesitant towards talking. Were you also kind of, what kind of challenges as a host you had, to talk to the guests?
So initially, I mean, when you have the conversation, you want to prepare the questions and come down, right? Because end of the day, it's something which has to be you have to keep a standard and a format. And be very casual, because you're talking to, end of the day, a business guy. So I thought, okay, fine, you need to prepare and stuff. So probably I think the first episode with Harish, we did a little bit of preparation where, But then when I actually started this one, I felt like rather than going through the questions, it was more of an actual conversation where it was just going with the flow. Maybe only when we got stuck somewhere that I went back to thinking what I was planning to ask. But more or less, when you have the conversation, it is what we have actually planned. So I think that was.
But okay, after 10 episodes, do you feel that preparation is important, or
probably prepare for your guest? At least understand like what are the kinds of questions you can ask them, or maybe what are the kinds of questions people want to know from these guests. So that is, I think, what we should more focus on, because I think more or less we have set a sort of a format where we are following it. Maybe we might have to further try to understand from the feedback we get that these are the things that we want to know from these people who have come on. So that will be useful for us. Probably they'll be in the same profession, or they might be thinking of becoming something what these guys are.
No, that's also my learning, because I kind of, it's like talking to different people, right? So you do get along with some people like just by a click, but some people you need the time to know them a little more. So in my case, at least, like I had that some sort of a pre conversation with them, and then that actually helped me. So I kind of know their background, what kind of people they are, what kind of questions will get them talking, and things like that. So it's actually because in some sense, whatever it's like to break that one layer, right, where people are not what they are on the outside, and it's as far as they're concerned, some of them are strangers for us, right? Like, I mean, who the people who and even then you would not have had a conversation with them that way. So that was an interesting part, actually, where to get into the deeper layer of human understanding and things.
In terms of the episodes, like or were there particular things that you learned from in each episode?
Yeah, for sure. I think I had whoever I had interviewed, I had learned one or the other new things from them. Especially the first episode was very special for me because it's the first episode. Architect, Mr. Gautam. Should we say Mr. because he's our friend. So so Gautam is that. So about architecture, like I said, I had no clue, right? I just know that they build buildings, and that's all that was there. Even I am an engineer, but not that line of work. So, but then that's he told about the culture and the how a particular environments this thing will establish their work, right? Like
Yeah.
the whole thing. So apart from entrepreneurship, those were very interesting for me. So I kind of the way I prepared for an interview was like, first is for the general audience, which will be like, this will interest facts, what you see in the back of IDC classmate books, right? The facts and things.
Yeah.
So that one. The second one is like what kind of sales can help them, how to, what they should let the world know that this is their product and things, and hiring for them. So these were the three kind of things. So I did learn to talk about all these things after a couple of episodes. So another thing I would say is Arnima's episode was kind of homegrown for me, I would say, because even I used to gym, and that was a familiar territory.
Yeah.
So questions came more organically that way, wherein I didn't even prepare for that. There. But whereas in the case of the consultant, Posh consultant, there I do feel that I have to be honest, I didn't do a good job in talking to her, but then like asking the right questions. But then that's what a little more preparation from my side would have helped is learning, which is what I try to correct in the next online catering one. But with respect to the learning, right? I think one thing with all respect to all the entrepreneurs, it's common is that they all had their struggles. I mean, it's like we all know that today they are in a position where they're making or not, or trying to break even or whatever. But then to think of an as an entrepreneur, even for our podcast, right? We are sourcing, we're doing the same kind of things almost.
Yeah.
We're promoting, and it's a different ballgame, but still. So that was a very good learning. So I mean, in your case, Dinesh, what was your best?
So actually, every episode there was definitely something to pick up from. But something what I found uniform in most was, like you said, the struggles. So everyone basically started from scratch, and to reach that level, they have just discussed their journey. So they just made it sound something very easy, but when you actually learn more about them, you come to know that it's not just one way up, it's up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
So that is one thing. And one more thing, what Sriram said, be consistent, never give up. Whatever is your goal, achieve it. And one more was Mr. Shiv Kumar also, where he was discussing that where engineer from a humble background came up and set up something which a lot of people now use it. And it's very a learning curve, because end of the day, even we are also entrepreneurs.
We're trying to be.
So we will definitely pick up something. Maybe they might not be in the same profession, but at least that learning curve of something we can try to be like what they try to do. So those are some important tips that every business owner should learn.
No, I mean that Sriram's episode, the moment he uttered those words, I was like, behind the camera, trying to clap hands. It was motivating. I mean, so it's like, again, it's just words at this point of time. But then behind those words, there are so much of experience that they have gone through, which it cannot be conveyed on the screen or whatever. So I think for us also it was similar, right? Like even while editing late nights, there would have been days where we would have been like, okay, we'll release it. We had that thing going on, like we have to release every Sunday.
Yes.
Every Sunday, right?
Yeah, every Sunday.
So there was one particular episode where we didn't get the guest on time.
Yeah.
It was, I think, our friend Tariq's episode, where we started on Saturday and then Saturday night.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's all like fun, and I know this is also something which I kind of recollect. Me going back to the day when we started, I knew that whether this is going to reach out to the audience, or whether it's going to come as a fruit how we wanted it to be. I just knew that I'm going to have fun. It's for the experience. In life, you got to do something, and that's one aspect of it. So you try to have fun, and then eventually everything else will come, is what I was telling myself. So were you having any doubts like when it started, or you were just like
not really actually? Actually, in fact, even before the whole podcast became a thing, I actually had a plan of doing this like 5 years back, but probably not on YouTube. Maybe just the audio, like how Nikhil does it with GWB. So that is something what I had planned long back, but I didn't really put an effort to make it into action. So then I thought, okay, fine, let's see. Now that we've started, let's just go with the flow. Whether it succeeds or not, I don't care. But at least it'll be fun and it'll experience. You learn a lot from people. Okay. So whether we become famous YouTubers or famous podcasters, that is secondary. End of the day, something we should learn.
Yeah.
At least we are spending 1 hour every week on this.
Yeah,
So-
more than 1 hour, I would say. Me coming from yeah, but yeah.
Yeah. So those are things that more of a learning experience.
Mm.
Whether it works or not.
No, I mean, I recollect you during COVID itself. You had mentioned that
Yeah.
let's do something on gaming or something.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes I feel like things take its own due course, and when it happens, like in a much more powerful manner. So yeah, that way this is good.
So, I mean, it was an experience for me, but end of the day, how did you land up into this? I mean, were you keen when I asked you, like, Macha, let's start something?
Yeah. I mean, so I'll be very honest. Okay, I mean, even I had the same feeling that we should start something as a podcast. So I was at that time when we spoke about this, I was in a environment where I was like all by myself. I was thinking I'll just lock up my room, and then somehow I used to trade a lot, day trade a lot. So I was thinking, okay, fine, I was going into a cocoon. So this was an opportunity for me to come into the world. I mean, like somewhere meet people for that sense.
Yeah.
So it's like, it was like I was craving for, in one sense, I was craving for some intelligent conversations, and it was all like small, whatever. Probably the mindset that I was in, everything felt like a small talk for me.
Yeah.
But this, that's why when we chose entrepreneurship as such, it felt like, okay, this is definitely progress. Even if nothing works, you're going to learn something about some other industry, right, which you're not familiar with. And from there, maybe your avenue opens, and things can go different way. And what was much more convenient is, we had a good bond, and we were like already knowing each other for this time. I don't know if I would have done the same thing if I just met someone and then started it. So I know, like, sometimes, I kind of take that stress off me, and I think, okay, if engineers is there, he'll do something, and then even if I'm not confident that something is working, right? So that used to be the way it was. But then yeah, so that was the journey till here. So you tell me, Jinesh, what emphasized you into getting into something? I know you were thinking YouTube, you were thinking podcast and things like that, but at this stage of time, was it like drive that you have to do something, or was it like this is the right time? Did you see a strategy involved?
So I mean, I've been into dental for the last 10-12 years. Okay, so rather than just seeing only teeth, like you said, you were going into that cocoon of this one. So I thought, okay, fine, we'll try to explore something where it is not directly involving our field. Maybe we might meet dentist or someone who, like Mr. Shiv Kumar, who is part of a dental industry. But this is more of going out of the entire industry and trying to meet new people. Like you said, learn from them what they have brought out and what is their field. So tomorrow, if we want to venture into something else, we'll at least have this experience that, okay, fine, we spoke to this particular person about his industry. And it's also basically networking for us.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we build the contacts. Tomorrow, if we need a particular help in that field of work, we can always reach out to these people. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to help us out. So one was networking.
Yeah.
And second is to go away from your daily bread and butter and try to explore something. Basically to diversify your time.
Makes sense.
So keep your mind occupied with something else rather than just the same thing, monotonous life. So, yeah.
I think it's important, right? Like, I mean, diversifying is a very good word that you use. Like your business, dental, during COVID, you would have experienced that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you would have been like, okay, fine. If not this, something else has to be there, which is moving me forward and things like that. That's nice. But I mean, I'm glad and happy that you acted on it, because for the most part, all of us, have these ideas. Even for me, right? Why it took this long? In life is like, you have all the ideas, you have all the thoughts, you can do it, you have that confidence, but then to the action, right, the execution part, and that's very important for an entrepreneur is what another thing that I learned from everyone, because they've all done something, and then they had a plan and they've acted on it. So, Janesh, I mean, over the course of 1.5 months, we have it was also difficult to get people, right? Like, I mean, get the right people. So it was like, they are not. There would have been some challenges in that as well. So, how did you actually pull it off from your side?
So, I mean, first thing is always to go to your closest friends. So asking your friends to come on the show, it's much more easier than going and approaching a random stranger.
Right.
Because if you approach a stranger, end of the day, they'll be like, "What are you doing? What is this? Show me something that you have done so that I have a reference." It's always good to have friends who are ready to come down, and Harish was more than happy to come down. And he was also more of happy to be there to voice out this one.
Right.
So like I said, it's a medium for him also to voice out his business. So in that way, it was a win-win for both of us. Whether it reached the right audience or not, that is secondary.
Right.
But the whole idea of having that experience was something. In terms of challenges, yes, there were cases where, we did reach out to certain people. But I think they said no mainly because they had the fear of camera, nothing else.
Yeah.
But otherwise, they are more or less ready.
But were you fearing the camera by any chance?
Maybe initially, probably I think the first episode when we had to shoot the pre-scripted dialogue, maybe that was a little bit challenging because we had to take a lot of takes.
I mean, you're being very modest there because I was the one who took like 4, 5 retakes. I don't think even you had there was a retake not even once because of your.
So that because we were used to all the dental videos.
That makes sense.
That whole trauma of dental videos came back. So yeah, that was one challenge where suddenly if a guest backed out and we didn't have a backup.
Yeah.
In the case of Tariq, he was more than happy to come down because he was a friend.
Exactly.
So last minute, so we always had a backup. So I think those are the challenges because if a guest backs out and we don't have the particular video ready, then we might lose out on the consistency. So that was something I always feared.
Yeah.
So but then we brought out the idea of doing 2 in a week.
Right.
So even though it was hectic for us, but I think in that aspect it was good. What about you?
No, I totally agree because consistency is another thing which I think knowing you and knowing me, both of us are like not our best cup of tea. But here we were like initially I was very particular about having some inventory. I think we spoke about it also, that we need to have some recordings already kept. But somewhere this actually got us in the toes. Like every week we need to do something, irrespective of what. So another challenge for me is managing the other works, right? Like other office works and other personal life, married, all that responsibilities. So that is there. But then, so the thing is that way it was very that drive was there. It was kind of adrenaline full. Like the last 1.5 months. At one point of time, I have to be honest that I was thinking, okay, we need to get a break, kind of a thing. But that's I think we started at the right time, even personally. Like it was after 10 episodes, we need that space to go back and take to revamp something. So that way, even everybody, right, whoever we interviewed, Pradyota and everybody did tell me that later. That you guys picked it up in the I could clearly see the difference from your first 2-3 episodes and 4-5 episodes. So every this thing we learn. I think that was the best part.
Do you have any particular guest in terms of who you want to bring in for next season?
Yeah, so I think originally I thought this, okay, like I said, that same analogy of keeping fruits on the table and seeing what people are taking. So I did realize that we really thought that the Morning Wood episode would be a big hit, but I think it was like we also learned that on the internet these are things that if some episode goes well or doesn't go well, I don't think it's particularly for one reason. So in this case, I just feel that it's because those kind of topics have been extensively covered in the industry already. In YouTube already, and people are kind of not looking at it again and again. It kind of get boring. So for me, it's like that's whatever sells or whatever people are wanting. So I want to listen to the audience more in this case, rather than my personal thing, right? Like I really like to talk about certain industries. For that matter, gym was one, and someone who, if I'm able to get someone from equity markets, it'll be great. So that's all for personal this thing, but I have to be a little not selfish here, right? Like both of us. So want to listen to the audience, and I think someone had put on YouTube they want a mechanic to win. So we are trying to do our best to get the right people, and that way that's there for you, Jinesh. Do you also think the same way, or you like?
So more or less, I want to learn from that person. So if there's any particular industry that I feel like, it could be, I'm being the general public in that aspect.
Okay.
There's a particular industry that I want to learn from.
Okay, as an audience, you're thinking.
As an audience, I'm thinking. So in that aspect, I look at people's what they're into, because some might be very interested in learning, some might be keen to know what is the monetary gain in this particular industry. So in those kind of things, or there might be certain people who are very passionate about becoming that in their future. So I mostly think in terms of audience, what would reach the right crowd. So in those kind of things, because I recently was talking to a pilot.
Okay.
And I also happen to have a patient who's a pilot.
Wow.
So I thought, okay, maybe we can try to rope in one of them. See, because a lot of kids, keep saying
they want to fly high.
They want to fly. So at least if we can guide them.
I recollect when you wanted to be a pilot from Nikhil's episode. Yeah. Nice.
So so at least if the kids know that what is the right way to go ahead. Yeah. So I think that should be good, at least in terms of learning, in terms of education and awareness. That is one. And any other business, mainly because of what it could give to the audience, like you said, right? It's what more the people want than what we want.
Yeah, I think the diversity is actually very, what do you say? It's kind of alluring, saying that, tomorrow I'm going to talk to a stand-up comedian. Tomorrow I'm going to talk to someone else from totally different industry. Not, biting the same industry is it's actually exciting for as a host, I would say. But again, that's what I think it also, I think in what way it helps us is you're getting those people, like whoever we are interviewing, their family circle, their friends circle, all of them are watching. Somewhere the word of mouth for our channel is also spreading, which is something which actually helps. But then that's what, in time, I think we need to sit on one particular thing and then go more deeper in one industry than other. But I think we are having fun doing whatever we are doing. If this is what people want, then well and good.
Actually, the last week I got a call from a friend of mine, and then he happened to say that I've been just following your channel.
Yeah,
and it's quite interesting that you have a variety of entrepreneurs.
Oh, they like it, is it?
And it's not like one particular industry that you're focusing on. It's nice because everyone is keen to know who's coming in next. So even when we put the poll, right, there's a lot of response on Instagram where a lot of people are trying to guess what the person is. A lot of people got it wrong. So appearances does it.
There's one person who always gets it wrong. No, but I think that's that's the interactiveness that we are trying to give, right? I think that's very important because somewhere I really feel that we have to connect with the people who are actually spending time on this, because it's just not like some random YouTube videos that they're taking some time out from their life to listen to us. So I mean, we really should not take it for granted. That's something which we are particular about. But like you said, that I mean, that was insight for me when you said, okay, people are all happy about being from different industries. Huh? Nice, okay.
Because and the fact that he is in the same industry of Harish,
okay,
so he happened to connect more. So he was discussing about how the winter industry is and how his dad started, and then now he's also handing over the thing. And he was telling that it's actually fun to listen to different industries, and what you guys are doing is actually good, and it's basically untapped. That's what even he said, untapped market where giving a voice for the entrepreneurs.
I think we'll have competition then. No, no more barrier to entry. Our strategy is in the open. But then see, I thought about this, okay, but however, people are going to do something which something that's happening, right? Yeah. But it still matters like how you do it. So if we both are sitting and slogging and then doing our best in this, I think it doesn't matter. You give a better quality product than someone else. This is what I also learned from the other entrepreneurs. They all talk about quality, right? Very particular. Even you as a dentist, you only speak about, out of the camera, you only speak about you giving service. I don't care about money coming in. No, okay. So, I mean, what you meant is, even if someone is coming and bargaining for the cost, right? I think that's what you meant. Wherein I'm not ready to reduce the cost with a sacrifice on the quality. So the same way, I think even for us, it's like if we stick to that, even if people are doing the same thing that we have started doing, it shouldn't bother us, right? What do you feel?
It's more or less, it's inevitable that someone will follow, or they might be thinking the same line. But end of the day, competition is always good,
Yeah.
because it also sets the standard that one particular channel is doing better than the other. So it can be a learning curve for the other channel also, saying that okay, maybe they are doing something right, which they're getting a better reach compared to us. So you can learn always from your competition. It's not that you need to fear. That is what I have learned, at least in terms of dental, because when you throw a stone into the air, you either land on a mallu or a dental clinic.
That's a famous quote. No? I saw it on Spain and Auto. Just joking. Yeah.
So competition is always good, but to an extent that it saturates the market, it's not good. So you just learn from each thing and do what you have to do. It will happen. That is what I have learned. In terms of season 2, like, do you want to follow the same strategy, or is there something different that you want to do?
No, I think for season 2, it's I want to take some more time on this, right? Like how we have the first season, like marinate on this little more, the same format and things. But one thing I really felt is reduce the output of it, like the time duration, because again, it's a given that the attention span is low and everything. So I've noticed even people who are close to me, who are my well wishers, looking at the status that we put or story that we put, and then just like scrolling over. So it is like it is somewhere it's becoming our duty to get them captivated and things. It's a hard thing. So that even now I have to be honest, like the reels that we are putting, we put it at 1.3 speed.
Yeah.
So those are all the tricks that we are using now. But then that's the thing. I want to like reduce and see how it works. Maybe like 15-minute cuts and those kind of things. But honestly, that 1 hour video is what is soulfully fulfilling.
Yeah.
Because I'm also a podcast consumer, and I kind of uh, do listen to it. I mean, I do something else and then I listen to it. So that way, the actual people who are interested. But I think we have not reached that point yet, like where we have got our core audience in place.
Yeah.
For that reason, I think we have to like cut short it a bit. That's the only change I would do, I think. But yeah, a little bit of upgradation in terms of equipments and things would really do well, quality wise.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to have a studio room, and that's the end goal actually.
Yeah.
For both of us, have a studio and like lights and everything. For you, Janesh?
I think like we should try to achieve our sandwich philosophy, at least in this season. Let's see if we can do it.
Yep.
And probably upgrade the mic. I think audio is something what some people have told that it's a little bit chippy here and there. But if we can do it, and if it's in our budget, I think we can try to improve on the mic.
Yeah.
Video, anyways, we are sorted. So I think audio is the part we need to do, and probably learn to edit it faster.
It comes with practice, I think.
Yeah.
No, but when we speak about budget, no, that's true, because nobody knows the budget that we have spent on this. But people are not going to be I mean, they're not going to be considerate about it.
Yeah.
You are not spending so much. Nobody's going to take that. For them, for our end result is what matters. That is like the truth of the.
True.
So with whatever we have done the best, and that is something which we will make it better, is what I also agree to. But the three people's this thing is what did anybody tell you that that would be more interesting?
I mean, Aziz told why aren't you both there? Won't it be more fun? Okay. So I mean, the only way we can do it is if we get a smaller round table and keep it at a shorter distance. It becomes more intense and intimate. Maybe the guest might feel overwhelmed by two people sitting right next to them and asking questions. So we maybe have to prepare the guest. But otherwise, I think let's see how it goes.
Did any guest also? I think one of the guests also mentioned that, right? That it would be a good idea to have
Gautam,
right?
He's like, why don't you also join?
And we suggested that we'll bring all the guests together once. The interior designers, architects, and everyone. Yeah, that should be the one. And in terms of guests for the next season, Yeah, I'm open to anybody. Like, like I really would explore more on that.
Mm.
Something. But one thing I'm a little particular about is not to repeat the same in an
Yeah.
industry only because of the same reason.
Yeah.
That
It will
one
become monotonous.
monotonous. But if we feel that, I mean, most of the guests we are talking to, like you said, they are friends and
Yeah.
people who know each other. So knowing them, if they have something that is different, right? Like
Yes.
from what has been spoken about. For example, the gym coach, we saw a lady perspective
Yeah.
on that. Maybe a gym coach male perspective also would be of different value. So that is something which we can look up to. But otherwise, as diverse as possible, like you said, pilot and uh, different industries. Someone, I don't know if we'll eventually end up in a space where we are talking about industries more than entrepreneurs, because I want to be a little careful there also, right? Because, for example, IT, I'm from IT. So, I mean, you can actually talk, you would have something to learn from IT professionals also. Yeah, there are some. so yeah, that way we'll have to probably, if we are thinking about entrepreneurship, then we have to somewhere stick strong on that as well. But yeah, it is fun to do that. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so this was kind of the recap or whatever you want to call it for the first season, and it was just our experience and how we went through it, and what are our plans. So it could also be of relevance for someone who's also trying to start something in terms of YouTube podcast and things like that. So we always believe that it is good to collaborate, and like we spoke about competition, it's not just us, or like we're not like self-centered that way. So we do look up to a lot of different things in the next season. So thank you for whoever is watching us and then supporting us. Many of them had shared and liked and subscribed, even without some of them without even knowing what it is, like Anand. No, just joking. But then yeah, he that really gives us some motivation. No doubt about it. Because at the end of the day, we're just not doing it for ourselves, but it's to reach out to a bigger cause. So yeah, thanks a lot for staying tuned and watching our space. We'll be back in season 2, and see you from Mohan.
So yeah, guys, and if any of the entrepreneurs do want to come on show and want to be a part of the sandwich stories, you can always reach out to us. We're available on Instagram. You can drop us a message via mail, and we'll be more than happy to have you on show. So until then, I'll see you on season 2. Take care. Bye bye.